Homestead. How the heck are you today? Hey, it's Monday, and we're in the barn. Let's have a chat. Yeah, I'm hoping we get internet this week. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm talking to myself most of the time here, because mainly I am. Had an interesting thing come up. In a while. All right, now don't all you roosters come in here and start making racket. Done had the cows louse up the last one I tried. Yeah. Suddenly they all decided to visit. Uh, had an interesting thing come out at me this weekend. A young couple had bought 100 acres in the area here. Knew the farm and knew it was a row crop, and that the fellow that had it kind of went under because of the cost of GMO crops was just beating him to death. He was farming 2 little acres for to spread the cost out far enough, and the ground had been completely saturated with herbicides, and you know it was everything he could do to uh, get out there and uh, you know plant his last GMO cover crop on the fields. Pretty place. I mean, house isn't much to speak of. I've seen better looking trailers, but the land, about 45% of it, yeah, thereabouts, is heavily wooded. A lot of old growth trees in there, and the rest of it's just flat as a board. I mean, perfect for row cropping or pastures. Got a creek runs through the middle of it. Kind of a good setup, honestly. And so anyway, fellow was in from the farm extension, and him and I was talking, and this couple got in. When he found out who he was, they started asking questions, and that they had bought this land. Well, I'd seen folks, the old farmer moving out a weekend or so ago, and these folks had bought the farm, and they were down picking up some hand tools and stuff like this. And so they were talking to the old boy from the extension, telling them what their plans for the place was. And as soon as they said that they were going to get the USDA to come out and certify them as organic, and they were planning on, planting produce, his eyes got as big around the saucers because he knew the farm too. And he says, "Have you had soil analysis done on that place?" And of course, the answer came back, "No." And he kind of rolled his eyes, and he said, "Well, I got to tell you, folks," he said, "that last farmer gave up farming because he couldn't grow anything but a GMO Roundup Ready crop because of herbicide contamination in the soil. To the extent he had to buy GMO cover crops, the Roundup resistant cover crops, because he couldn't get anything else to grow there." And the lady, looked like probably mid 30s. I think they said they were out of the Nashville area or north of Nashville, somewhere up in that area. Uh, you know, you could see the concern in her face, and she said, "Exactly, what's that mean to us?" Man, he just told her. He said, "There is no way that they're going to certify that land organic." He said, "Just isn't going to happen. It's too heavily herbicide contaminated." He says, "And to be honest with you," he said, "until you start getting the contamination cleaned up," he said, "you're not going to be able to grow a conventional crop in there. It won't grow. The Roundup is going to kill it." Man, you could just see all the joy and excitement that these folks had on their face just disappeared. It was sad. Your heart really broke for them. they had sunk everything they had in that place. And I asked them if they got any disclosures from the farmer about, you know, what the land was used for and the condition of the land. And they said no. And I said, well, that's not a good not a good thing. Because we started talking to them about how to bring the soil back and what it was going to take, how long it was going to take for them to ever get that ground where it could be certified organic. And to be honest with you, they were looking at it as a income stream. And I told them, I said, there's a lot of old growth timber on that property. I said, you might try having that select cut. I said, it's pretty thick back in there. I said, so it'd probably do the woods good and so forth. I said, and there's a lot of oak back in there. And I said, you may be able to, at least offset some of your expenses going forward by getting that cut. I said, and selling lumber. But yeah, they got a problem. And like I told them, I said, your steps in this whole thing is going to be in your first year, you're virtually not going to be able to use that land for anything. You need to go in there with a breaking plow and first mow it to the dirt. Leave all the organic matter lay there, and get a breaking plow and turn that sucker under, and come back and use a subsoiler on it, and get that so it cuts deep. I mean, a subsoiler really goes deep, and I said go ahead and cut real deep. I said, and let that just lay there like that. I said, as flat as that land is, you shouldn't have a big erosion problem. I said, but it's going to expose it to water and air and the elements. I said, and you might, make a big dent in the amount of herbicide in the top layers of that soil. I said, and go back and I said, fertilize the heck out of it. And just get in and try little test spots to see if you can get some grass to grow. I said, because once you can get grass to take hold, I said, you can turn it into pasture land. I said, and if you can turn it into pasture land and get animals on it, I said, it'll help you out a lot, though it will still take years. I said, or you can continue that process of turning in organic matter, fertilizing, keeping the soil broke up, blah, blah, blah. I said, until that soil tests clean. I said, there's just no easy fix to this, folks. I said, herbicides are nasty. And to see the joy leave these people's face, Lord, they don't even own a tractor. He was going to buy a tractor. I said, buy yourself a good one, because you're going to be using it a whole lot. And yeah, it's sad to see. It was truly sad to see. I even told him, I told him I had a YouTube channel, I said, where I went into a little bit about being careful about buying row crop land. I said, because it may take you years to get that back in shape. And he was waking up to the truth, I guess. So for you folks, little heads up. If you're looking at land that was used for row cropping, and just because they got something green growing out there, just like with this farm, they make GMO rye, grasses, and cover crops, clovers, to grow in Roundup. Okay, you could have absolutely toxic soil and a pretty green covering. Okay, understand that. Second thing is, you're going to want to make as a condition of the sale disclosure of what chemicals have been used on that soil for the last 10 years. Or as far back as that farmer's possessed that land. You want to know what he was using and in what kind of quantities per acre. That's going to tell you a lot. Okay. And I'd make that a pre-closing condition. You want to know. Now, that's not to say you walk away from it, okay? Because God knows we need to take this cropland back and turn it back into something that can grow a real crop, not this GMO nonsense. But you also don't want to pay a premium price for land that you think you're going to use for an organic produce farm to find out that you're 5 years down the road before ever being able to get that certified. Okay. Unless it's properly discounted. You got a lot of work to do that land. Uh, you don't want to be doing it for nothing. Okay. If they're asking $3,000 an acre and it's contaminated to the point of being all but worthless, you might tell them, I'll give you 15, not a dime more. So, use due diligence, folks. Make sure you get a disclosure on what they're doing with that land. If it's been used as a row crop, you want to know what was used on that land. But like I said, it's not hopeless, and you can turn it around. But like with these folks, they were looking to be a USDA organic produce producer, and that just wasn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. I mean, they're 5 years away, and I don't think they put that in their business plan. Okay, so use due diligence. Pay attention to what you're buying. Just because it's got some green grass or clover growing on it don't mean nothing. All those GMO Roundup Ready cover crops are available through your local seed dealers. Yeah, they've had to, because it gets to the point where you can't get anything else to grow. It's got to be a genetically modified organism. Period. Sad. Yeah. Use care and caution. Like I said, it's fixable, but it's going to mean a lot of turning of the soil and fertilizing and time, and that's the big one. Time is money. It's that simple. Every growing season you miss, you've missed out on your income. And if you're spending your seasons out turning soil and just watching it sit there, a little hard to make a living. So it was sad. Truly was a sad experience watching the joy and excitement just leave these people. And but I guess in a sense, at least they walked away a little better educated than they walked in, and now they know. Uh, you know, y'all make sure if you're out looking for land, use due diligence. And if it was ever used as row crop, you want to know what was put on that land and get samples taken. Okay, so that you know, because they might fudge a little bit. But if a farmer is getting professional advice from a realtor or an attorney on sale of a property, they'll tell them if you're asking for disclosure of what was put on that land, it better be straight up, because if not, they lie to you. They can be held accountable. Okay, you do have some recourse at that point. Like with this couple, they're into that place up to their eyeballs, and whether or not they're gonna make it because of what they're confronted with there, hard to say, and it's sad. Okay, so you folks don't get caught up in that kind of stuff. I'm gonna really get to working on that series on how to restore the land. There's a long way and a short way. Long way is actually better. Short way is a little quicker, but in a sense, the using livestock and things of this nature, once you do the initial setup, you can make money. Okay, you're not totally sitting there waiting for your ground to heal. But yeah, they're doing a lot of damage out there, folks. And row crop is, and this year is even going to be worse. We got more toxic chemicals going down. It's truly sad. So use your due diligence, pay attention, and it was just a sad thing to watch that young couple. You watch your dream kind of melt away, and all for a quick buck to Monsanto and these other companies. It's sad. Matter of fact, it's more than sad. It makes you angry. They're destroying our soil, and we're still buying their products. What's wrong with that picture, huh? It's Richard Jesse Homestead. I love you guys. Appreciate you, and be careful out buying land. Okay, be careful, and I hope to talk to you soon.